Giannis Antetokounmpo. Big blockbuster trade. Bye-bye Milwaukee. Hello South Beach. He's headed to the Miami Heat. Big news coming out Monday night. Late Monday night. Obviously, you know, if you guys saw my appearance on Catching Up with Cody, we were talking about possible spots for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it just in time, you know, as we were doing the live podcast for Catching Up with Cody. But yeah, he's headed to South Beach, but Miami, they gave up a lot of capital to acquire the Greek Freak. And that's how we start today's episode. Guys time, it's Wednesday, June 24, 2026. Zach Bryce here, the Bryce. We got to talk more about this trade. Obviously, we will dive into the NBA draft, which was last night as well. But yeah, the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, headed to Miami. So in order for the Miami Heat to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo, they had to give up a lot of capital, a lot of guys. Tyler Hero, to name one of them. Kel'el Ware, Jamie Jaquez Jr. 3 first-round picks. I mean, unbelievable. A pick swap and 1 second-round pick in the near future. First-rounders in 2031 and 2033. A pick swap in 2030, and then a second-round pick in 2033. So the Miami Heat gave up so much to acquire Giannis, the superstar, the Greek Freak. And we've seen a history of the Miami Heat doing this with star players. We have to go all the way back, I mean, even years before Shaq, like Alonzo Mourning coming over, play for the Miami Heat. But obviously, one of the biggest trades was with Shaquille O'Neal way back in 2024. They just got done losing the NBA championship to the Pistons in 2004, 5-game series there. He goes to Miami, and 2 years later, with Dwayne Wade in 2006, he wins a championship. So that was one of the first instances where a star player comes to Miami Heat, and automatically, within a couple years, they're successful. They're winning championships. So you had that going on. And then obviously after the 2010 season, the decision. We all remember this. I remember it. It was all over SportsCenter. It was all over ESPN. LeBron James taking his talents to South Beach, right? Yeah, we all remember that. He goes to Miami, 2011 season, made it to the playoffs, but then they finally win the championship in back-to-back seasons, the 2012 and 13 seasons, winning championships. So another star player headed to Miami, and within a couple of years, automatic success, winning the championship. And then obviously you got to go to 2020 and 2023. Jimmy Butler takes his talents to South Beach, right? And he leads his team to the finals, winning one of them leading them to both finals those years. But they didn't make the finals last year. So getting Giannis was obviously on President and Miami Heat's president, Pat Riley's radar, and try and get the big man over to South Beach, and he was successful. But, I mean, man, you gave up so much to acquire this guy. Was it worth it? Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it was definitely, you know, worth getting the big man. But, you know, he's teamed up with Bam Adebayo. And obviously he's the face of the Miami Heat. He had an injury last year. I think he tore his ACL, so he's out for the most of the season. So he wasn't able to put up the numbers like he would like to. But, I mean, you got another big man there with Bam. Bam comes in 6'9", 260 pounds. I mean, that's a large human being. Then you got Giannis, the Greek Freak, 6'11", 243. I mean, who's stopping that pair, right? Who's stopping that dynamic duo? I mean, I don't know. You know, that's going to be very tough for all the rest of the NBA to go up against. So watch out, NBA. Now, Miami Heat, they're on fire right now after that big blockbuster trade late Monday night. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it on Catch It Up with Cody. I think Cody, shout out to him. I think he would appreciate that. We could have really talked about that, but, man, giving up so many players. Draft picks, I mean, 3 draft picks, man. 3 first-round draft picks, a second round in the future, and then a pick swap for the future as well. So, yeah, I mean, how you guys feel about that? I mean, that is definitely huge for NBA free agency. And then with the NBA draft happening last night, I mean, it's just absolute chaos right now. So since the trade happened late Monday night, the Miami Heat have the 5th best odds, and this is all according to Sports Illustrated, to win the championship. They're behind the Spurs, who have the best odds, which is crazy. They lost the championship, right? So you have the Spurs, the Thunder, the Celtics, and the Knicks. The Knicks just got done winning the championship, but they have the 4th best odds to win it. So they're not showing any love to the Knicks winning their first championship in 53 years. But right there at the number 5 spot, the Miami Heat getting their odds better with the acquisition of Giannis Antetokounmpo. But yeah, big news coming out of South Beach. Big news coming out of the NBA. Wanted to touch base on that. But Giannis Antetokounmpo leaving Milwaukee. He's done with the Bucks, taking his talents to South Beach. We'll see if he wins a championship. I mean, it's possible. Shaq did it. LeBron James did it. Jimmy Butler led his team to the NBA Finals a couple times. Didn't win, but led his team. And obviously Jimmy Butler is a longtime Chicago Bull. So there will be success. I see immediate success with Giannis. It might not be next year, but definitely in the next couple of years, this team might be competing for a championship. So watch out for the Miami Heat. But yeah, Giannis headed to South Beach. Crazy stuff going on there. But yeah, we got to talk about the NBA draft a little bit as well. So that was on last night. You had some star players getting drafted. Cameron Boozer, forward, Duke superstar. He got drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies, number 3 overall pick. Yaxel Landenberg, Michigan's all-star forward. He got drafted by the Golden State Warriors with the number 11th pick, and then the Detroit Pistons get their first pick of this draft, and they got Ibuka Okori from Stanford, guard from Stanford. So you had that, and then we drafted Kareem Lopez, and he was the first Mexican-born player to be drafted in the first round. So Detroit making some moves in this draft. Got some young talent there. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, just some highlights from last night's NBA draft. But yeah, it's crazy time in the NBA right now. So that's all NBA talk. Yeah, big trade, big blockbuster trade late Monday night, and then the NBA draft was last night. We got to hop over now to baseball. We got to talk about Justin Verlander. So Justin Verlander, obviously he's an icon here. He's a fan favorite, but dude, he's old. He's 43 years old. I think it's time to hang it up. Excuse me. There was reports there that he was retiring. It's like he's done. He's done with baseball. He doesn't want to do this anymore. But it's not official. He's still an active part of the roster of the Detroit Tigers. So no official retirement has come out. He hasn't said anything. But the trend is headed that way. I mean, you have to see, after this recent setback that he has a left hamstring strain after a previous left hip inflammation, I can't talk today, injury after his first start. After his first start, his left hip got swollen up and there was inflammation there, and then he tried to come back. He was supposed to start Sunday, finished out that series with the White Sox, and he has a left hamstring strain. And at 43 years old, yeah, that's not good, man. I mean, you can get that when you're younger, but not as a 43-year-old man. You're an old man. And I think it's time for Justin Verlander to hang it up. And I'm not, I'm going to get a lot of crap for it, but it's the reality. He was great here for so many years. He's a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 2-time World Series champion. Should have won 2, in my opinion. Definitely 1, but you should have won 2 here in Detroit. Unfortunately, just being Detroit teams, we couldn't give that to him. So that didn't work out. But he still went to Houston Astros and won 2 there. And like I said, he won a Cy Young with Detroit and 2 with the Astros. So obviously the accolades are there. He's a future Hall of Famer, one of the best pitchers to ever play the game. But it's time to hang it up, man. You're 43 years old and you're battling this hamstring injury. It's time to go. He's an icon in the Motor City. There's no doubt about it. He's one of my favorite Tigers. I mean, I like him, Miguel Cabrera. There's many many players I like, Maglio, Ordonez, Ivan Pudge, Rodriguez, great players to ever put on the Old English D jersey. But yeah, I think it's time for Justin Verlander to get out of here. I think it's time for him to pack it up. And I know that's a lot. No, it's a lot easier said than done. But if you're going to keep getting injured, what's the point? We don't need you. Right? So it was unfortunate. We would love to see him start last Sunday against the White Sox, and they swept the White Sox. The Tigers did in that 3-game series this past weekend. But Father Time is undefeated, and I think this is a time where Justin Verlander has to think about his health and realize, hey, you're not 20 years old anymore. You're not in your 30s. You're 43 years old. Messing around with a hamstring injury is probably not your best bet, not your best decision. So we'll see what happens. I think he's going to retire, but we'll see. If he doesn't, maybe he's part of the bullpen. Maybe he doesn't become a starter. And it's just unfortunate because we signed him to that 1-year deal, $13 million contract before the season started. And, it was like a retirement tour. It was supposed to be a retirement tour for Justin Verlander, who started his career here, and now he's going to end his career here. And it was supposed to be this great retirement tour, lots of memories, finishing out strong. But now you have 2 major injuries, this recent one being a hamstring injury that you dealt with. I think it's time to hang it up, buddy. And it sucks. It sucks because, this is the Justin Verlander I grew up watching. This is the Justin Verlander who dominated the American League for a very long time, who dominated the AL Central for a very long time. If I knew Justin Verlander was starting, you bet your ass I was going to watch that game because he was going to win most of the time, right? I mean, he was just unbelievable. His stuff was amazing. Guy is one of the greatest pitchers of all time, but you can't battle injuries this late in your career. So we'll see what happens, but he's not officially retired. I want to get that out there. And there was reports saying that he's retiring, or he's thinking about retiring. I think it's trending that way, just with this hamstring injury and all, the left hip injury that he dealt with earlier in the season after his first start, which is crazy, right? But I think he's done. But he's not officially retired right now. He's still part of the team, so we'll see what happens with that. We're going to stick with the Tigers. The Tigers, they're finishing up their 3-game series against the Yankees tonight. Crazy because usually the third game is usually a day game, but it's a night game right here in Detroit. They got the Yankees 6:40 p.m. on Prime Video, so check that one out. They lost last night, a very close game. They lost 4-3. Casey Mize gets the loss, unfortunately, but the other night, Monday night, to start off the series, Valdez got the victory, and they won 5-3 against Garrett Cole, who's one of the best pitchers in all baseball. So that was a great way to start off the series. But then, obviously, last night's loss snapped a 4-game winning streak for these Detroit Tigers. And these Detroit Tigers, man, they have a 12-7 record right now. They get in this month. So that's one of the best in the American League and all baseball. And then, we can forget about that May. That May, oh, God, it was horrible. I mean, you guys who sat through and watched all that garbage, Tyler Mizzy, shout out to him because he's a Tigers fanatic. God bless you, my friend. I mean, that couldn't have been fun. I mean, 6-22 record in the month of May. Yeah, 6 wins and 22 losses. Ugh. I mean, it's horrible. It's disgusting. It's heartbreaking. It's embarrassing that a professional baseball team has a record like that in 1 month. 6 wins and 22 losses. Like, are you kidding me right now? So we're going to forget about that abysmal, god-awful May. We're going to focus on June. June's looking a little better. A little better. Not a lot better, but a little better. You're winning games now. You're hitting the ball. You're getting on base. Your bullpen is not blowing the game like they usually do, right? I mean, Will Vest comes into mind, maybe. I don't know. Jansen, our closer, he's blowing a few saves, especially a handful in the month of May. But much better baseball being played by this Detroit Tigers team. Like I said, 6-22 record in May. God awful. That's in the past. We're not worried about it. 12-7 record now in the month of June. But there's lots of baseball to be played, man. We still got July, the All-Star break, got August, September. Lots of baseball to be played. The rest of June as well. So anything can happen. We're not going to shut out the Tigers yet. We're not. But I mean that May did dig them a huge hole. But they're fourth place in the AL Central. There's, I think, 7.5 games back from first place. A lot can happen. A lot can happen from now till playoff time, which is around September. We're towards the end of June. We'll see what happens. Not gonna cancel them out right now. Not gonna count them out right now. They're still in the fight. But that May did not help them at all. So you got Tigers on tonight, wrapping up that 3-game series right here at home against the New York Yankees, first place in the AL East. And then they're 4-1 on this current homestand. So that's great to see, and that's what we wanted to see coming back to Detroit. Okay, you got to start winning games. Well, 4-1 record. Well, 4-2 now with last night's defeat, but that's still good. And you swept the White Sox, who's first place in the AL Central. So that's very exciting. That's promising from this Detroit Tigers team. But you got one more game tonight with the Yankees, and then after that, you enter a 4-game series, 4-game homestand against the Houston Astros. And the last time you guys faced these guys a couple weeks ago, you dropped 2 out of 3 in Houston. So let's make that homestand. Let's make those 4 games against the Astros good. Let's win at least 3 out of the 4. It would be sweet if we win the 4 games starting tomorrow night going into the weekend. But I'll take 3. Beggars can't be choosers, right? Especially in baseball, and especially in baseball today. 3 out of 4 against the Astros, I'll take that. So, but we got to focus about tonight. You got the New York Yankees, last game of the 3-game series, 6:40 in Detroit. We got Skubal on the mound, so that's exciting. Who knows if he's going to get traded? Does he? I mean, sounds like he wants to get out of here. Okay, well, get rid of him now while he's still valuable. Maybe get some players, help out this offense. Maybe. I don't know. So he's on the mound tonight. He's going up against Weathers for the Yankees. Check that one out. 6:40, MLB TV or Prime Video. So go Tigers. Take care of those Yankees, and let's get ready for Houston. So, got that going on. And like I said, lots of baseball to be played. And then the All-Star break coming in July. I want to see where this team's at. Like, if they're winning games like June right now, that's a good sign. They're winning games. Like I said, they're hitting the ball. They're getting on base. They're scoring runs. Their bullpen's improved a little bit. Starting pitching's been good. It's always been good. It's the bullpen that's been giving us some of the biggest issues for this team. But all aspects better. Not a lot better, now by a lot. Not a great improvement, but it's better. It's doable. It's tolerable, right? Like I said, that month of May, we're going to forget about it. Because I think it will be good for Tyler Mizzy to forget about that month of May because he loves his Tigers, and they were awful in that month. But June, 12-7 record. Hey, can't complain. 4-2 on this current homestand. Like I said, getting ready for Houston. So we'll see where this team's at by the All-Star break, and hopefully they're playing some great baseball at that time, and then they continue. Because we see in years past with this team, they have a hot start, and then the All-Star break happens, and then after that, they just forget how to play baseball, and they barely make it into the playoffs, and then they get eliminated in the first or second round. Well, let's try to avoid that. So win some games. You got a 34-45 record right now. Like I said, lots of baseball to be played. Go Tigers. So watch that game tonight against the Yankees. So now we got to talk about the World Cup. Yeah, I know we don't really talk about a whole lot of soccer here on Guys Time, but it is the World Cup every 4 years. Biggest sporting event in the world, obviously, right? You got so many countries competing for the trophies. So, we had a lot of games on today, but tomorrow you got USA going up against Turkey. And USA, they won their first 2 games of the World Cup. So they beat Paraguay 4-1 Friday, June 12th. And then last Friday, they beat Australia 2-0. So there's some promise with this team. This team, they never won a World Cup. I mean, it's hard. You got all these countries. You got great players from all these countries, all these nations. But it would be pretty cool if the United States wins the World Cup. That would be awesome. They got Turkey tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Probably won't watch it, but let's go USA. Let's win this one tomorrow night, 10 o'clock on Fox. So all you soccer fanatics, go watch your soccer, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, USA, handle your business, and we will see what happens this going forward. And you got Lionel Messi making history, most goals in the World Cup. I do believe it was 17. He broke the record. I do believe it was earlier this week. So good for him. One of the greatest soccer players of all time. Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously representing Portugal, and then Lionel Messi representing Argentina. So yeah, great for him. Like I said, those two guys, hell of a rivalry there. So in the world of soccer. So, but then we end today's episode with UFC. Big fight night coming up. International Fight Week. Conor McGregor making his return. Hopefully it happens. Going up against Max Holloway. This is the second time they fought. Mentioned it last time on Guys Time. McGregor beat Holloway by unanimous decision all the way back to 2013. I was going into my junior year of high school, or I was a sophomore rather. Yeah, sophomore in high school last time these guys fought. So obviously they're much older now. Conor McGregor has been out of the game for 5 years, so that's going to be really interesting. But let's just get this fight in the cage. Let's get this fight in the octagon, and we'll see what happens. But Max Holloway's coming off that beatdown, that ragdoll loss to Charles Oliveira. I mean, he just destroyed him on the ground. Yeah, boring fight. It wasn't the most exciting, but I mean, he just embarrassed him for 5 rounds. So Max Holloway is definitely on a revenge, trying to get a win. But yeah, Conor McGregor, big name. He's going to put asses in the seats. So you got that coming up in a couple weeks, actually, 2 weeks. July 11th, International Fight Week. McGregor versus Holloway 2. Check that one out, Paramount Plus, 9 o'clock. And then you got Paddy Pimblett in the co-main event going up against Benoit Saint Denis, lightweight bout there. That'll be a very interesting fight as well. So that is all for today for Guys Time. I know it was short and sweet. Got NBA final, or not NBA finals, excuse me. You had the NBA draft last night. You had the blockbuster trade with Giannis Antetokounmpo headed to the Miami Heat. So he'll probably win a championship in the next couple years, just knowing that trend of Miami securing some big name talent, some big name free agents like Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler. So we'll see what goes on with that. You got the Tigers having a decent month of June. Hopefully they continue success down the road. Like I said, lots of baseball to be played. Justin Verlander, he's probably going to retire, but no official word on that yet. You got the World Cup, so watch some soccer. Go USA. Win your game tomorrow night, 10 o'clock against Turkey. And then UFC fight night coming up in a couple weeks. Big fight night between Conor McGregor and Max Holloway. Second time these two have gone at it, so we'll see what happens there. So thank you so much for joining me. Zach Bryce here, the Bryce Guys Time. Thank you so much. This episode will be available later today or tonight. I'm going to get that out there for you guys. But yeah, this episode's going to be available later today, so check it out. You guys are amazing as usual. Follow my Instagram at Guys Time with the Bryce, my personal page at Zach Bryce. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Guys Time with the Bryce, and we'll have that new episode out for you later tonight. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing. As always, it's Wednesday. Finish out this week. Enjoy this weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful here in Michigan. It's going to be a fun weekend for myself. So as always, have fun, kick some ass this week, and stay safe out there. All right, take care, guys. Have a good one.